college football playoff. We just finished watching the Sugar Bowl. The Georgia Bulldogs, they were taken down tonight the by Ole Miss. And this was a game this was an unexpected result. And I am not sure that too many people picked them to win. I don't. I don't. I do not think that many people actually believed that Ole Miss could beat Georgia. Now, this was a game that was highly contested. This was a game that Ole Miss squeaked out 39-34. And the biggest question was in this game was Trinidad Chambers going to be able to live up to the moment? Was Trinidad Chambers gonna be able to not choke like he did in the last game? The moment got way too big for him in Athens, and they lost in the fourth quarter, despite going into the fourth quarter with a 9-point lead. But today, this game was absolute chaos. This was chaos on every single level because, yeah, because every single player, every single one of these quarterbacks, Trinidad Chambers, Gunnar Stockton, you're watching, you're like, bro, is this a circus? It was like watching Johnny Manziel, but not just one of them, two of them. And what we got out of college football in this playoff so far has been nothing short of exactly what I predicted that would go on. It is exactly what I said was going to happen when we got an expanded playoff. Think about how many people, some of your top college football media personalities, were trying to tell you that playoff expansion was a bad idea. I'm pretty sure that we can all agree now that it is a good idea. That we are getting basketball results from the NCAA tournament. I'm gonna put up the graphic right now because this was the only place that I could find it. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen of the bracket because we're looking at this. Here's what we're looking at. We got Oregon, the 5 seed won. Uh, Indiana won, 1 seed. Georgia got beat by the 6 seed, and the 10 seed is in there. So it is 5-1-6-10. 5-1-6-10. That's what the bracket looks like. And for everybody who didn't want G6 teams in, none of that, Texas Tech got beat by 23 points today. Alabama got beat by 35 points. Blowouts are going to happen. I don't know why we some kind of way think that Alabama getting blown out is some kind of way better than James Madison getting blown out or Tulane getting blown out. They all blowouts. We just like to see the name a little bit better. It makes you feel a little bit better about yourself when you get a chance to watch somebody fade who you didn't believe belonged there anyway. So now let's get to this game tonight. So you got the Georgia Bulldogs who were in control of this game until they gave up 20 points in the fourth. Well, really 18 points in the fourth quarter because that 2 point, that two points ain't really nothing anyway. But what the heck is going on? Trinidad Chambers tonight, 30 for 46, 362 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he had 4 rushes for 13 yards. But the way that this man was running around in the back, this was Johnny Manziel like. Johnny Manziel. It was astounding. And you can give Gunnar Stockton some of that praise too. This game came down to the quarterbacks, and they just made plays all night long. Both of these quarterbacks, play after play after play after play. That's what you pay the money for them two dudes to do what they did tonight. But this game was very interesting because Ole Miss started out up 6-0. At halftime. We're 21-12 after Pete Golding absolutely botched the damn the clock management for them to try to get a field goal at the end of the half. I see a comment in the chat right now. It says Trinidad and Dante have similar styles, both good athletes. Mm-mm. And he's referring to Dante Moore. Dante Moore and Trinidad Chambers, their playing styles could not be any more different. He is more, Dante's more traditional pocket passer. He runs like he got two left feet sometimes, but Trinidad Chambers got Johnny Manziel, Lamar Jackson in his blood. He's got an upgraded juke package than Caleb Williams does. So, but let's talk about these defenses because neither one of these defenses played particularly well today. Um, Ole Miss rushed for 111 yards, and they threw for 362. There was big plays all over the field. For Harrison Wallace III had 156 yards receiving on 9 catches, long of 44. Stribling, 7 for 122, 40-yard game. It was big plays all over the place. And on the Georgia side, 26, 24, 31, 18, 20, 16, 16 to make up Gunnar Stockton's 230. I'm not sure I'm looking at both of these defenses. Neither one of them looks that great. The Georgia defense did not play particularly well tonight. And neither did, that Georgia defense didn't play particularly well tonight. And truthfully, neither did Ole Miss's. And when you look at the stats, because I always say I'm college football's honesty broker, I'm going to tell you the truth, even when other people won't. Ole Miss was 5 for 14 tonight on third down. 5 for 14. That we're looking at like 38%. That's not going to cut it. And then Georgia tonight was 3 for 13. 3 for 13. We're talking 20% on third down. That's not going to cut it. And the Georgia defense gave up 473 yards compared to Ole Miss's only 344. But you do have to give Gunnar Stockton credit. Man, this mofo got onions, bro. He seems to be at his best throwing the ball when Georgia needs it the most, which leads me to believe Georgia should be throwing the ball more. But then as soon as they start throwing the ball more, he sells the ball long, throw a pick, and you're like, we can't fully commit to this. That's where Georgia's pass game is. It's frustrating because you have a quarterback who can make plays and make throws. He'll get hot. He's super streaky. And then he'll throw one over somebody's head. And you're like, come on, bro. Come on, man. The game was played fairly clean. Only 8 penalties today. 4 for both teams. Both teams had a turnover. Time of possession was not that big of a deal. It just feels like when these two teams played earlier in the season, it looked like Ole Miss had control of that football game. It did. And then it looked like the moment got too big for them. And Georgia was able to come back. And it looked like Georgia was peaking right now. But how much of this, which we have had to ask all day, And then even from yesterday, 3 out of the 4 teams in 2025 that had the byes lost. Georgia lost for the second year in a row. They lost last year with a bye too. Ohio State lost with a bye. Texas Tech lost with a bye. The only team that beat a team with the bye was playing the worst team, was the worst Power Four team in the college football playoff, and that was Alabama. One-dimensional Alabama. So over 2 years, 1-7 if you have the bye. If having a bye is an advantage, and these teams are supposedly better than the ones who aren't playing, how could you possibly say anything other than one team is better than the other? Like it's indisputable. It's indisputable. And when we look at Georgia, Georgia obviously beat Ole Miss in the regular season, but it is hard to beat a team twice. But here's the thing I want you to pay attention to with this Ole Miss team. So Ole Miss gave up 39 tonight to Georgia. They gave up 41 to Tennessee, 24 to Alabama, 14 to Kentucky. They gave up 35. I'm sorry, they gave up. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. What am I talking about? I'm over here looking at the Georgia scores. Excuse me. Ole Miss this year. I was like, didn't they play Tulane? So they gave up 10 to Tulane recently, 34 to Georgia. They gave up Georgia State beginning of the season 7. Here's what I want you guys to listen to. They gave up 23 to Kentucky, 35 to Arkansas, 10 to Tulane, 19 to LSU's terrible offense, 21 to Washington State in the game that they only won by 3 points, 43 to Georgia, 26 to Oklahoma. And you're like, hold up, they gave up 24 to Florida too? This just shows that this Ole Miss team, they are capable of outscoring you, but they are also capable of giving up a lot of points. I believe that this Ole Miss team is that the ceiling for this Ole Miss team is really the same ceiling for the most part that you get at in a Lane Kiffin. I'm sorry, in a Lincoln Riley system over there at USC. There's more physicality in the Ole Miss scheme, but generally. So if Ole Miss can win a championship, maybe Lincoln Riley can too. Um, Now I want to talk about Georgia because Georgia fans, and this actually made me really, really think because I was listening to some Ohio State commentary after the game from some of their, well-known people who do recaps and all this stuff, cover the team, do those daily shows. And one of them asked, "Is Ryan Day still the right guy to lead this team?" And and on one hand, I was proud because I believe that there are two rules to firing a coach, right? And the first one is every single coach, no matter whether they went undefeated and won a championship or whether they went defeated, being lost every single game, that they need to be evaluated and the question needs to be asked. Is there a guy that I can guarantee get that will do a better job than the guy I got right now? That I can guarantee get, and he'll do better than the guy I got right now. So on one hand, I was proud. But then on the other hand, I'm like, what kind of ridiculousness is this? The dude just won the national championship a year ago, had Ohio State the number one team for the majority of the season, got the 2 seed and a playoff game, like a bye. And we're asking, is this still the dude to lead the team? That is it. It just matters more territory for Ohio State people because that's outrageous. So now Georgia fans are going to be asking the same question. You can guarantee it. Is Kirby Smart the right guy to be leading this team? That's the question that's going to be asked. I don't even know how on earth that you could possibly even wonder if Georgia's fallen off or if there's something else going on. It's not. Georgia's in the playoff damn near every single season and just won back-to-back chips within the last 4 years. And we're asking, is Georgia falling off? No, Georgia's not falling off. This is a different era of college football. Had Nick Saban stayed at Alabama, they would be a tad bit better than they are now because they'll be able to run the football. But ain't no more championship runs going on like that. Those are the old days. These are the new days. And what we're getting in the college football playoff is honestly, I could not, as a fan of the sport and somebody who covers this sport, want anything more than this. Like, there's nothing more that I could possibly want. I'm going to put the bracket up that I screenshot again. So now you got Oregon playing Indiana. Y'all drop in the chat, who do you like in the Oregon versus Indiana game? Who do you like? Because the preview will be out this week. In 2 days, I will give you guys my pick. I am going to, but I mean, pretty much everybody knows that I'm going to pick it. Well, more than likely, I'm going to pick Oregon in this football game based upon what I've seen, what I saw in the last game, the things that could be fixed. But I have sung Indiana's praises all year. I told everybody Indiana was going to tear the cover off of Alabama today. Tear the cover. And if you guys want some receipts, oh, I put all the receipts in that video. All of the receipts in that video. From Alabama fans telling me I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. All the comments. We got them on there. And then you got Ole Miss versus Miami. Outside of people who played for Miami or cheering for Miami, I do not believe that too many people had Ole Miss versus Miami in the semifinals. No. A lot of people probably had Oregon, Indiana, or you know, Indiana, Texas Tech, or Alabama Tech, or Alabama, Oregon. Nope. Indiana is who we thought they were. Is who we thought they were. And you guys, Oregon fans, I did a reaction to the Oregon Texas Tech game earlier. That's on the channel popping, so make sure that you guys check that one out too. And to the middle game as well, that Indiana blowout massacre of Alabama. So Ole Miss Miami. Let's early preview of that one. Miami is going to play a completely similar style to Georgia. It's completely similar. They are going to try to be physical, run the football, and their defense is good, but it ain't as good as Miami's. Miami's defense is better than Georgia's defense. And that is going to be hard for some SEC people to hear, but Miami's defense is better than Georgia's defense. And Georgia's defense had trouble with Ole Miss all season, except for in the fourth quarter of the game in Athens. Trouble with them. And but the thing about Ole Miss is holding them below a certain amount of points. That's hard to do. That is hard to do. And when you got to deal with a mobile quarterback, oh, that is a problem as well. So Trinidad Chambers tonight, this dude was making plays, running all over the place like a little gazelle, gazelle with a laser beam for an arm. That made it real tough on them, and because his running ability and escapability makes it tough. Because you had Georgia playing with them big, thick-legged defensive tackles and ends. Trinidad breaks contain. They can't catch him. They can't catch him. Those dudes were made for stopping the run, not rushing the pass rusher. And then Ole Miss goes quick, so then you can't get the fat guys off the field, and there's nothing you can do. And now you gave up another first down. And then they're like, yeah, you can sub now. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. You can sub now. Man, oh man, this is this is a wild situation because nobody predicted this. Now, now the question is, who has the best chances of winning the national championship? If we look at the odds, Indiana has the best odds right now, then Oregon, then Miami, and then Ole Miss. So we're gonna see who ends up. Oh, okay. Somebody bringing something educational to the program. Person said, I followed Trinidad Chambers at Ferris. Okay, question. Where is Ferris State? I know that they've won the Division II national championship a few times in the last couple of years, but where is it actually located at? Kid's a baller. Man, if he wins the national, think about this. If if Ole Miss ends up winning this national championship and Lane Kiffin doesn't get to put it on his resume, Lane Kiffin's the kind of guy that would put it on his resume regardless. He would just try to work around it. Would be like, led the national champion Ole Miss Rebels to a 12-0 record. That's not lying. It's technically true, right? Oh, okay. Ferris State is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I had no idea. Um, Zephyr, bro, as a Dogs fan, this stinks. Okay, are you talking about Georgia Dogs or Washington Dogs? Because they could hate that Oregon is in, and then for Georgia, this has to stink because you already beat this team. So that means that you can win, but you also know that you didn't play well enough to win today. Can anybody tell me what Kirby Smart was thinking when he went for it in his own territory? I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay. Okay. I I got so confused. I admire the aggressiveness, but sometimes we gotta temper it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, somebody just said East Stu ain't playing. Nah, I don't think East Stu playing, man. I think we gonna I think we come to the end of the road for this season on that. Uh, but now I'm wondering, okay, right? What happens because been talk of Trinidad Chamberlain going into the transfer portal. If he wins the national championship at Ole Miss and then hops in the transfer portal, what would we be doing? I mean, I'm being serious. What what is going on? Because it's not like Ole Miss wouldn't pay him. Why would he carry himself down to LSU? That's the part that makes no sense to me because I don't believe the kids always recognize the the value in having an allegiance. What the value is of having somebody, of having a place that you can call home, a university that claims you. And Trinidad Chambers would be, yes, Ferris State would still claim him, but he could be an Ole Miss legend. And there is nothing like being a legend in college football. You are always employable. The boosters always want to hang out with you. You're going to have plenty of money making opportunities, but that are going to far exceed the little change that you're getting right now in NIL. When you need a favor to get your kid in school, when you need a favor to get to a certain doctor, when you need a favor, those are the people that you're going to call on. And there is value in that. Like like at the University of Oregon, Travis Dye and Troy Dye both went there. One was a linebacker. He's playing in the NFL now. And then you got his brother. His brother got a few more nickels to go down to USC, and he decided to do it. Now, and these were two dudes who were duck dudes, right? And now, and then he goes down to USC, plays half the season, gets hurt. And now when it comes to Oregon, Oregon don't even fool with him no more. Fans are like, oh my God, bring Troy back. Don't bring Travis back. Nobody cares about Travis because you left them. So there's so much money left on the table. So when a favor needs to be called from any Oregon boosters, whether it's the Kilkennys or the Phil Knight, anybody else, and phone calls don't get answered the same way. So kids need to see that. Okay, somebody just asked a question in the chat. What made that kickoff turn into a safety? So they caught the ball, they ran it out. It was a double pass. It was intended to be a double pass. It just got thrown not properly, so the guy didn't get it. So it was intended to be a backwards lateral, so then they could try to run it in for a touchdown. And it hit the pylon. So technically, the pylon, if it hit the pylon, that means it broke the plane. So it's going backwards, and that's a safety. It's like if you fumbled out of the back of the end zone. If you fumbled out of the back of that one, it would be a touchback. But this way, it's a safety. If you're fumbling out of your own end zone. So that's why. Um, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Hitch is that I do know that these are young men. I have a son in college right now who's hopping in the transfer portal. So I get it. I get it. So oh my God, I forgot about that face mask that they missed at the end of the game where they missed that face mask on Georgia. He grabbed his face mask, tackled him, and then they had to punt on the next play. This game could have been over long before it was over. Long before it was over. But you guys, though, I appreciate your time. We will have way more stuff on the channel this week. The previews for the next round. Now, the only reason, too, honestly, I'm not so happy about Ole Miss winning. Ole Miss fans ain't like that, or at least they haven't shown themselves like that. They haven't. They don't hop on. They're not as active as Georgia fans or Oregon fans. Hell, even Texas Tech, Iowa fans. Surprisingly fantastic. Yeah. So you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend. Peace out. We will catch you guys in 2 days with previews and everything, but tell things and other things in between.